But yeah, before we get into the Good Samaritan, though, I think we should talk about parables kind of in general. What are we talking about here? Because, this is like how Jesus talks. Like, this is what Jesus is known for. Like, he teaches in parables, in the synoptic gospels, at least. Um, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, not John. There's no parables in John. Um, but yeah, and there's also parables throughout the Old Testament. One of my favorite is in Judges, Judges 9. And there's like trees that are like trying to find a king, and there's a bunch of good trees like an olive tree and a fig tree and some vines that are like, we don't want to be the king. But then a bramble comes along like, I'll be a king, like I'll be your king, and I'm going to threaten you if you oppose me. And it's like a kind of a warning against those that like run for office without qualification.
Ooh,
So yeah,
how
and
relevant.
yeah, and I'm like reducing that a lot. Like there's a whole lot more, and we could get into that on another day, because we're talking about the Good Samaritan today. But I just want to like bring that as like an example of like, hey, parables exist outside of Jesus's teaching. And there's a bunch of different types of parables. You have like these stories. Some of them are a couple sentences long. Some of them are enacted parables. So a lot of scholars think that when like Jesus flipped the tables at the temple, I'm sure you know that story.
Oh yeah, love that
Yeah,
story.
Jesus flips the tables. That's called an enacted parable. So there's lots of parables, lots of different ways these stories are told, and it's a very common way to tell these stories, particularly in the Bible.